Okay, here we go. We'll call this Committee of the Whole meeting to order on September 10th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, is there anybody who'd like to speak under public participation this evening? Okay, for the record, there is no public participation. The first item on the agenda this evening is item number 4, request a permit, Spirit Republic LLC, to close Pulaski Street from Kickapoo to the arcade entrance, half a block, on Friday, October 11th, 2024, from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a band performance on the street. Discussion? Ms. McClellan. Ms. McClellan.
We didn't have a chance to talk about this in the last meeting, so I just had a couple of questions. When you're going the difference between a private business and a public or nonprofit, there's kind of a difference there sometimes. I think if we're going to open that up to all businesses to be able to do that, we need to put some parameters around it maybe. How often, is it going to be once a week, or is it going to be, I think we just need some parameters around that maybe. And the other thing is department heads, they are involved in it too. And it's like, how much time are they going to, if we're going to have something happen repetitively, how much time are they going to have involved in that? So that was just something I thought maybe bring up, chat through, whatever, so.
Okay, I'd open it for discussion, and the department heads can weigh in if they'd like regarding their departments, the time commitment it would take to support this type of event and or future events. Mr. Landers, your department tends to spend more time. Thoughts?
Yeah, if it's just a matter of setting out some barricades, we basically place the barricades in a location, and then they move the barricades out to block the streets. So you're only talking maybe a half hour total, 15 minutes to deliver them and then 15 minutes to pick them up, the following day or Monday if it's a weekend. So it's not time consuming at all.
Are you the only department head affected by a street closure?
It just depends. Sometimes the police can be involved, or the fire department can be involved too.
So you have to get, there's a permit to some kind of permit process?
They have a request. They have
Hey, Robin, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you make sure you talk more into your microphone so we can hear?
They have a permit to request. So basically, Police Chief Meister and Police Chief Johnson, or Fire Chief Johnson, I'm sorry, and myself sign off on it, along with the mayor also has to sign the document also.
And then there's is there a notification that somebody has to put out? Is that there's going to be a...
It depends on how obtrusive it is. We might put out a press release if we need to.
Yeah. I just on this side of it, before we make the decision to go ahead with the closing up before a private business and opening that door to potentially having a lot more businesses wanting to do that, it's like, to me, I just wanted to, is that something we want our police chief and our fire chief and you all spending your time on? If it gets to be where it's once a week, or if it's whatever it is on top of what we're already doing. That was just something that I thought we could, think that through before we just said, let's open it up to everybody, so.
Chief Johnson?
Yeah, whenever we have something like that if there's extra staffing is needed and it's above and beyond what we normally provide the citizens, we do have special service agreements. I modeled mine after the police chief, so private businesses actually pay for our overtime guys to come in, which from the fire department side, that's very, very rare on ours. So basically what I do is look at the street closures, sign off on it like the other two do. But should they ask for additional help, like I said, we would make them sign a special service agreement.
Does that come with extra? You said that is also they pay for that extra service, or?
That is correct. Yeah, they pay to offset the cost of overtime that we would need to bring in for that. But again, on the fire department side, it's very, very rare.
Okay,
Chief
and
Meister?
that's-
I'm sorry, Ms. McClellan.
It does happen more often for the police department. We're asked to work extra security for certain events, and as the fire chief mentioned, we're reimbursed for that overtime cost that we have to bear when we get those requests.
Okay.
Alderman Bateman.
Even, she keeps saying private business. Yes, the business is privately owned, but this event is open to the public. So it's the business that's footing the bill for the band, and those things, but it is an open to the public event. So it's not just a private party. It's a public event.
Alderwoman Rolfs.
I guess I would have a question. How much time do you need before, like this event starts at 4? Do you set that up a couple hours before? Or do you do that in the morning? Is there any part of the street that's blocked off throughout the rest of that time?
Basically, we'll look at the extent of the closure, and usually first thing in the morning, we'll deliver the barricades to those locations. They're set off to the side. And then, once the event gets ready to start, whoever's sponsoring the event or in charge of the event pulls the barricades out and blocks the street. And then they remove them at the end of the event.
Alderman Parrott.
I can't recall what's on that, the form to fill out. The only thing that I would see is if there was going to be an issue with the closure with businesses that were trying to still conduct their business, that would maybe become an issue, but I don't think it's become an issue before on this type of an event. I mean,
No,
I
they-
think that like Grizzardo's and Top Hat probably benefit from it as well. I don't know.
I believe they did this event last year, and I think, did Open Arms also do a similar event in the rough location? So there have been a couple events of this nature. But they operate like Third Fridays, due to Mr. Lander's point. We ask for the support services, and they just drop it off, and then it's up to the event coordinators to basically manage the street closures and things. Now, of course, if they asked for police presence to that effect, I'm sure that Chief Meister would accommodate them, but we haven't had an issue to date on that. Alderman Eimer?
I think things like this is good for our city. It's going to generate revenue. It's from 4 to 11, so a lot of the downtown businesses are already going to be closed. I'm kind of baffled by some of the questioning because we've been through this hundreds of times of different things like this. Like I said, I'd like to see a lot of this go on. We need to get more people downtown for whatever reason it's going to generate a lot of money or tax money for, sales tax money. So I think it's a good thing, but I'm a little confused of why we do this all the time, it seems. I mean, we've done many times with bands and stuff, so I'm a little baffled by why it would be such an issue, but that's all.
Alderwoman McClellan?
Yeah, I'm not opposed. I've just seen sometimes if we don't have a discussion before we make a decision, we get down the road and there's unintended consequences. Like perhaps it gets out of hand and there's too many requests, or perhaps we're taking too much time away from our department heads, or I think it's just a matter that you need a good discussion to make sure there are no unintended consequences, and if everybody's comfortable with that, that's fine. I just don't want to get down the road and have to backtrack or make some kind of, put something into place that we weren't aware of in the first place. So I don't have a problem with it. Just want the I's dotted and the T's crossed, so.
Just awareness.
Yep.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Place this on the consent agenda? Yes. Okay. Place item number 4 on the consent agenda. Next up is item number 5, request to permit Tammy Bunner and Heather Martin to close streets on all 4 sides of Scully Park on Saturday, October 12th, 2024, from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. for Touch a Truck in the park. And Ms. Bunner would like to share some updates with the council regarding this.
Thank you. This week I met with fire, police, the paramedics, Streets and Alley, Logan County Highway, getting the event moving. Walt Landers suggested that we keep Kickapoo Street open. And then instead of closing it, what we can do is whatever food trucks we get, we can park in the parallel parking and leave Kickapoo open. So we can do that, so we'll only request for the three streets on the side of Scully Park to be closed.
And the food trucks will face in towards the park, correct?
Right.
Mr. Heimer?
Thank you for bringing this to us in this event. I'm all for it. Sounds like a great idea. It's not going to affect any of the downtown. Still going to bring a lot of people downtown. I mean, if they want to go do other things downtown, it's only a block away.
Yeah.
I think you and Walt have got this set up quite
Yeah.
well. So thank you very much.
Other discussion? Ms. McClellan?
I just wanted to say thank you too on behalf of the downtown stores who I talked to a lot about closing streets, and I'm sure they're going to be just absolutely delighted that you have heard what they were saying and that you responded to them. And so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Great success. I hope you have great success.
I do too. And I've met with Logan County Buildings and Grounds Committee, and so far they're okay with the use of Scully Park, so we're off and moving.
Yeah, I think that's a good use of the park.
I do too.
Well, the community will love it. If you need any help promoting it, we can put it on our Facebook page and stuff
Sure,
like that to help
sure.
get the word out.
Also, I'd like to ask if we could have some picnic tables for the food trucks set up as well.
Yeah, I think we got an email today on it. Mr. Landers, any concerns with that?
What
was
weekend?
6th, I believe.
The 6th, yeah, there shouldn't be any issues. Do you know how many you would like? Or 12? There still shouldn't be any issues.
I said 6.
6, half a dozen. Okay, we can
Because
do
there's
that.
some there already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can deliver
Yeah.
more.
6 tables. Okay.
No.
Concrete.
Oh, they're cemented down, huh?
No, we had the DOC build them out of gigantic wall pipe. They're like over 1,000 pounds apiece,
Oh, yeah.
so that they can't be moved very easily.
Okay, cool. All right,
Anything else for the council?
that's it.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Tell Heather we said hi.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll place item number 5 on the consent agenda then, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, next item is item number 6, proclamation 2024-498 for Constitution Week, September 17th through 23rd, 2024. And the example of the proclamation is in the packet. For the record, I'll read it. It reads, Proclamation 2024-498, Constitution Week, September 17th through 23rd, 2024. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to the rule of law. And whereas September 17th, 2024 marks the 237th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, I, Tracy L. Welch, Mayor of the City of Lincoln, Illinois, do hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd, 2024 as Constitution Week in the City of Lincoln, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. Place this on the regular agenda. Okay. Place this. Mr. Barrett? Okay. Next is item number 7, Proclamation 2024-499 for National Seed Tracks Think Train Week, September 23rd through 29th, 2024. This was an email that we received. It's been a number of weeks back, and Ms. Bateman and I talked about it and felt that it would be appropriate to bring this forward for the council. And so we present it to you for consideration. This proclamation reads Proclamation 2024-499, National Sea Tracks Think Train Week. Whereas Sea Tracks Think Train Week is to be held across the U.S. from September 23rd to the 29th, 2024. Whereas 2,192 rail grade crossing collisions resulted in 765 personal injuries and were responsible for 248 fatalities in the United States during 2023. And whereas 1,378 pedestrian trespassing casualties have occurred in the United States, resulting in 663 pedestrians being killed and another 715 injured while trespassing on railroad property rights of way during 2023. And whereas educating and informing the public about rail safety, reminding the public that railroad right-of-ways are private property, enhancing public awareness of the dangers associated with highway rail grade crossings, ensuring pedestrians and motorists are looking and listening while near railways, and obeying established traffic laws will reduce the number of avoidable fatalities and injuries caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas the International Association of Chiefs of Police, National Operation Lifesaver Incorporated, United States Department of Transportation, and all local, state, county, and railroad law enforcement officers, first responders, and railroad corporations commit to partnering together in an effort to educate at a national level all aspects of railroad safety, to enforce applicable laws in support of National Sea Tracks Think Train Week. Therefore, I, Tracy L. Welch, Mayor of the City of Lincoln, do hereby attest my full support, proclaiming September 23rd through the 29th, 2024 as National Sea Tracks Think Train Week, and I encourage all citizens to recognize the importance of rail safety education. Any comments, thoughts? Place it on the regular agenda? Okay. Thank you. That is extremely important. Constitution Week is as well, but, you know, we've had fatalities and injuries as a result of this exact issue. So I think it's especially with the railway and the speeds increasing as they go through town. So I think that it's important we call that out. So thank you. Okay, next item is item number 8, curb and sidewalk replacement project bid award. Mr. Landers.
The 2024 curb and sidewalk project bid opening took place on September 4th. We received 4 different bids. All bids were under budget. So it was good to have that much competition in there to get us the best prices we could possibly get. The low bid was from Opperman Construction of Pontiac, Illinois, in the amount of $238,000. Along with that, we have a regular budget of $300,000 with appropriation amount of $350,000. So I would like to add $100,000 to that $238,000, and if we can get the contractors to hold their unit cost that they put in the bid, and then we can add more targets to the list.
Comments? Any questions from the council? Ms. McClellan?
What exactly to hold them to what they've
So
already
each,
bid?
and when they put in a bid, there's a unit cost for each item that they do. And so if we can get the contractor to agree to hold those unit costs that was in the bid that they submitted, then that way we can figure the cost of what we would like to do in addition.
So is that a normal thing for you to have?
Yes, it's something we do with the resurfacing quite often.
But I mean,
We've done it with the sidewalk project some too.
they sometimes they do not come in with.
I've never had one not agree to do that.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Mr. Landers, do you have thoughts as to what those targets would be for that additional 100,000?
Yes, so when I submit targets to CMT for their estimations and for them to go out and look at them, of course, I always submit
Right.
quite a few.
Yeah.
So we still have a list of stuff that we took out to try to make sure we stayed within the estimate. So one location would be the sidewalk along Chicago Street across from the depot, where the
Genealogical
the
Society?
Genealogical Society, it needs some work. There was locations along Pekin Street that we had listed in there. And then we also had some on 9th Street too. So there's plenty of targets that were submitted originally that we can go back to and add. The one on Chicago Street is one we've been trying to get done for a few years now. It's just never worked out right. So I'm assuming that's one that will be a priority to me.
Okay. All right. Place this on the regular agenda. Okay. Place item number 8 on the regular agenda. Next item is item number 9, Structure 145 VFD replacements. Mr. Bounds.
So this is 4 new variable frequency drives for the plant. These control our influent pumps, allow them to run efficiently so they're not always running at 100%. We're looking at 22-year-old items. One of them has completely failed. It's not repairable. We call the manufacturer, and the manufacturer does not support it anymore. There are no parts available. So I'd like to get all 4 of them replaced on a 1-by-1 basis and ongoing support through the 145 upgrade as outlined in this quote. It's a total cost not to exceed $62,800, which is roughly $35,000 off the budgeted amount, so we're way under budget for this particular project. You guys got other questions, specifics? I'd love to try to answer them.
Any questions?
Put it on the agenda.
Okay, place it on the regular agenda. Okay. Place item number 9 on the regular agenda. Okay, next up is item number 10, City Hall Fire Department interior paint and flooring bid. Ms. Bateman.
So we went out for bid for the city hall, which basically downstairs, the council chambers, and the fire department, like behind the door, for interior painting and flooring. We only got one bid, which was Brady's Painting and Construction here in town. So with his total, we added 4.5% on it for any contingency that may arise. Hopefully there isn't any, but we just need to, so we don't have to come back to ask to spend more money. We figured this was the easiest way. I put the bids out to where it was separate, where each section was separate. The downstairs was separate, the floor and the paint. Here was just separate, it was just the paint. And then in the fire section is separate by the floor and the paint. So it's all broke down separately for anything. Any questions? Yep.
Can you, I know painting walls, what are they gonna do with the floors?
The carpet is going to be left carpet. This is all going to stay. Anything that has carpet already that same carpet will stay.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully we can shampoo it, maybe. But the carpet's in very good shape. I don't foresee anything wrong with the carpet. The flooring is like a wood grain. It's going to be glued down. What is it?
Laminate?
Just a laminate. It'll be glued down on top of the existing floor. Wes looked at it, and even Tim Brady agreed with Wes's suggestion that the sample we had was just to glue it down. This has gone through historic preservation. They were the ones that actually came up with the flooring design and the paint design. So it's all gone through them.
Thank you.
And that was just the flooring of this, what's like out in the hallway. It's the flooring that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's asbestos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Reimer.
Hey Peggy, will that include like the bathrooms and all that?
We didn't do the bathrooms. Bathrooms right now is just like a beige. The walls will be like a two-tone. It's going to be a darker on the bottom, and then the top is a little darker than what it is. But we didn't do the bathrooms. Maybe after this is all done, we can come through and just paint the bathrooms and refresh them up. But a lot of the bathrooms got the little tile things anyway on them, so just clean them up.
Mr. Bateman.
Does this bid include any repairs to the wall, like where Mr. Conzo got mad and kicked it outside his office?
Yes.
My story.
That's a good story.
Or the
I was there.
Or the
It wasn't
recycling
good.
bin took him out.
But it does include repairing any,
Yes.
are
Informality.
they removing the wallpaper, or are they?
He was asked to bid it 2 ways. One, to remove the wallpaper that's there, and 2 was to just paint over the wallpaper. Removing the wallpaper alone is just as much as painting. So, yeah. And in the mayor's office, he thought one time years ago he painted that wallpaper himself. So a lot of it's already been repainted over. So maybe with the darker color, some of the wallpapers got where you can see a little bit of a design. So I don't know how much that will.
But that's going to include the mayor's office, the clerk's office, the treasurer's office, the main hallway, the stairwell,
and Ashley's office.
and Ashley's office,
And then the lounge.
and the lounge.
The stairway all the way up, and then here in front of the elevator, and then back, or ties off where the chief's office is, and then down the hallway where the fire department,
Into the fire department.
and in here.
Mr. Bateman?
So we did the roof, we did the windows,
Elevator.
repaired the elevator. So once this project's done, then all that's left is, we discussed tuck pointing the outside, to try to keep this building in tip-top shape. Should last us quite a while longer.
I did get a ballpark. I'd have to look back at I don't remember if we ever followed up on the discussion, but I did get a rough ballpark. But
I think
I think we were,
It was-
actually, I think we were waiting on this, weren't we?
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
were
See-
one thing at a time
Yeah.
type of deal.
Yeah, it would have to be next year's budget
Right,
anyway.
right.
But is there anything else this building would need that you guys know of that's been neglected for a few years? I don't want to end up with a project like they have across the street.
How's the basement?
Musty.
I've only been down there once.
It
Not as
hasn't
full as it
changed.
was in 2017.
But basement's actually we've spent, or at least my part, I've spent the last part of 6 years at least cleaning it out, and the fire department, as well as the attic, has been extremely brought down on the amount of stuff that's there. I don't, honestly, other than maybe some TLC type things that.
Well,
Well, there was,
I'm
there was
glad
some,
we spent COVID money on most of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that helped out in our budget, but I don't want to see just because that pool of money has dried up that we just push the building off to the side. Let's just finish a 3-year project that we got going and let's fix it so future councils.
Well, and if nothing else, what we've accomplished just in the last couple years is a wonderful, I mean, now it's something, all the items that we may or may not think of can be a budgeted, kind of a piecemeal thing, where right now we've
taken care of the big
Oh,
ones. I mean,
I
it's a
would- yeah,
75-year roof. The elevator was big.
I mean, the elevator, it wasn't a repair, it was a brand-new elevator.
Yeah.
So, but the only other thing would be HVAC, and I know some of that has been addressed in the past. So we're in pretty good shape with this building. The council's done a good job of making sure this building's preserved, I think.
I do say, and Ty will speak up on this one. I don't know if any of you, or how many of you haven't been back all the way to the back, but we didn't do the sleeping quarters. The sleeping quarters is paneling, and kind of afraid what's behind the paneling. But someday that may need to be addressed, because it's, yeah.
Yep. That'll be another project.
So I'm assuming that all the departments, if this is okay, are gonna work well with the contractor, kind of like what we did with the windows. The fire department, and the clerk's department, and the mayor.
Code
he's
enfor-
never
code
in his
enforcement.
office, So, I mean,
I talked with Tim, and like the rooms downstairs that are actually offices, like the mayor's office and Ashley's office and the lounge and stuff, he can do that during the day. The only thing he could not do downstairs during the day would be the hallway and the sewer department, because there's too many people coming in. So he would have to do that of an evening or a weekend. And with the fire department, he would just have to work around how they want to do that. I couldn't speak for them, so I could only speak for me downstairs.
I spoke to the union members if they would help out, because obviously asking the union members to do non-union labor causes issues. They said, we'll meet you in the middle. We'll take all the stuff off the hall, the walls in the hallway, the day room, the areas that they use, and then the painters would move the other furniture. So it seemed like they were receptive to help out.
Yeah, but going back to your statement, I will tell you that office, my office downstairs is used all the time for meetings. That's all right. They don't hurt anymore.
Grown accustomed to.
Yeah. Okay. And on that note, is the council, Mr. Landers?
Yes, I think you probably should consider the parking lot at some point also.
Yeah. On a heavy rainy day, you need your waiters. It's pretty bad.
Well, and I will say another upgrade that got done that we didn't mention was the hand railing outside. So thanks to Miss Bateman, we have brand new hand railing because in some parts of that hand railing, it wasn't even attached at the bottom anymore. It had rotted out. And I think one of the things we probably need to do is look at the uprights that are holding the canopy.
Yeah, what Wes has
Yeah.
talked about that, yeah.
Yeah,
They're getting built.
they're getting out pretty bad.
They're in the process of getting built.
So there you go. Yep, it's the little things.
It's in your agenda.
175, 235.
And like I said, that's 4.5% for contingency. Like I said, we won't need it.
Yep.
And there are a few of the walls in the lounge. There's a wall under the window, and it's soft. He don't know if the window leaked at one time, but it's soft, so he'll have to address that before he, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
This is not removing any of the current flooring, it's putting flooring over top
Gluing
what
it.
is there.
Gluing, yeah. And you will still have the chair rail. It's still the same,
Okay, so place this on the regular agenda. Okay. Place item number 10 on the regular agenda.
Question, did Historic Preservation pick out the colors? Or
yes.
you gave them a choice?
No.
And
Cynthia Carr, which is the chairperson, I told her what we were looking at as in needing to paint and stuff. And so they were meeting anyway. So she brought it up and she came up with the color scheme and actually the floor. I never even suggested this floor, but when she put the floor in there, I'm like, well, that kind of looks kind of nice. So that's what
I
we
think it's kind of nice that they were involved because the building is on the Historic Preservation list.
And as you know, if I had to pick out the colors, we'd still be here talking about it 6 months from now.
6 months would be quick.
You don't want to be blamed for the colors.
No.
It takes her a
It's
year to
pretty,
pick
though.
out the colors. I've talked to Mr. Bateman before and waited and waited and waited.
Okay, place number 10 on the regular agenda. Okay, that brings us down to announcements. I've got a couple. First is this Friday the 13th is the Civic Golf Outing. And so if that's something that you're interested in and would like to support the services that they provide by way of tiny homes for veterans, you can go to civeteran.org and find out more information about that. We'll see how things pan out. It's supposed to rain that day, so we'll play it by ear. Also, number 2 is a ribbon cutting. You might have got an email that Helping Hands Electrolysis at 604 Broadway, Suite 5 is having a ribbon cut at 12:15 p.m. So it's tomorrow, yeah. Yep, tomorrow afternoon.
Didn't Nyla have a couple more listed?
They were for next week. One was the Rail Splitter Festival, and then the other one was Loco. I forget what the name. The nutrition, yeah. So they will be next week. So I'll share a reminder next week in council for those. And then the following weekend is also the movie night at 8th Street Park. And it's the 21st at 6 p.m. And so some new details on that one is it's modeled to be a free event. So the DARE department and Christy Frege has offered to come in. They're going to cook hot dogs. There will be free drinks for families that come out, anybody that does. There's also going to be some other businesses that asked if they could set up. So I think they're going to do like nachos, maybe shaved ice, things like that for a small fee. So it should be a really good event.
Has anybody got
I think they have a popcorn machine too. Yep. So, more detail, we'll share more details out as they get locked down. They just met today. I think Mr. Landers was involved in that meeting too. So, okay, that's all I have. Anybody else? Ms. McClellan and Mr. Eimer, and Mr. Johnson.
Just wanted to mention that Family Fun Day is happening again at Open Arms at 1321 Illinois Route 10 on the campus of the former Lincoln Christian University. It's this Saturday. It starts at 11 o'clock. The entire event is free. There'll be free hot dogs, hamburgers, pulled pork sandwiches, funnel cake fries, snow cones, popcorn, and I think there's more, but it's not on the list. So there'll be local bands and musicians, inflatables, and lots of giveaways that include a $500 cash prize. It's just really a free, fun day for families and individuals to come and relax, enjoy themselves with lots of free food and fun things to do. So everybody's invited, and hope everybody can come.
Is it in? When? 11
He usually starts wrapping it up about 5, but it just depends on how things go. And but I think probably food's going to be available till 4 or 5. I imagine.
It starts at what time again?
11.
11, okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Eimer.
I just want to give a big thank you and shout out to the fire chief, the crew that works for us, all the fire people that were involved from other cities. I've talked to a couple firemen, and they said that Ty done an outstanding job on calling what he had to call down there. And from what I've seen, we could have lost the block, but I think we got the right fire chief in place. He stopped that. So just a shout out, pat on the back, and thank you very much.
Chief Johnson.
Going to that, when I sent out my press release the other day, I got an opportunity to thank all the citizens, and I got an opportunity to thank all the other departments that came in. But tonight, I want to take the opportunity to thank our own members. The members of Lincoln Fire Department, mainly, we did have a couple mutual aid companies with them. They worked for an hour and a half inside that structure under very dangerous conditions before we finally, once the risks outweighed the benefits. So I just want to say thank you to them. They did an outstanding job, and they worked for hours on end before coming out of that. So I just wanted to recognize them.
And then also want to thank Chief Meister and the police department as well. Fifth Street became a thoroughfare for the tanker trucks, and when I called the chief, he didn't hesitate, put out a notice and put out a call for people to avoid that area if they could. So yeah, I think that helped a lot with the congestion.
I think we need to also thank Walt and the street department because they were out there for some hours.
Mr. Woodall.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, Mr. Woodall then too. And then
Yep.
I know I seen a lot of the street department guys. They worked, I think, through their lunch period and everything else on that. So great job.
Yeah, and that work continues. So now that aftermath is done, there's a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration. They had to at least wait for the fire marshals. ATF had to be called in, given the business that was in there. That structure now, we need to keep an eye on it from a safety perspective. They moved the barriers back. Keeping our roads closed down there long-term is not the goal, but we need to do what's safe for the community. So we'll continue to work through that issue. Yes. Thank you to all of you for your efforts. The community thanks you. Okay. Does anybody else have an announcement they'd like to make? Mr. Hoblet.
Kind of wish I would have said this one a bit earlier before we moved on to the subject we just resolved, but there is one more fundraiser that's coming up that I want to make mention of. It's the Ales for Tales for the Humane Society of Logan County, coming up this Thursday at Spirited Republic. So just wanted to put that out there for the benefit of the group and for all listening.
Thank you.
The Purple Heart fundraiser was what really good. We had to end early. There was a little mishap with the propane tank, but everybody turned out well. Huh? Yeah, but he's gonna be okay. I stopped in at IGA on Monday, and the gal said he'll be okay. But all went well.
Okay. If there are no other announcements, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Alderman Downs made the motion, Alderman Eimer second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? This meeting is adjourned at 6:40 PM.
I'll correct those two capital letters in